What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am solidjakegg, and this is a Murky hero highlight. Murky is a new hero, a specialist hero that has been put into the game. He is the baby Murloc from Warcraft, and I think Murky was actually introduced from BlizzCon. I think that's kind of his existence in the Blizzard world, but I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I offended any lore nerds. That being said, we're going to take a look at his abilities, and what makes him so unique and so different is really his combat trait, which is Spawn Egg. Murky places an egg at a target location, revealing the nearby enemies, and if Murky dies, he respawns at the egg after 5 seconds. Meaning that anytime you kill Murky, you don't get experience. You don't get any benefit. There's no real gain to killing Murky other than to stop him, because Murky will constantly be diving in your towers and just charging and charging and charging into you, doing as much damage as he can before he dies and respawns again. How do you stop him? Well, quite simple. You kill his egg. But you can't just kill his egg because Murky can place his egg down again. So you have to coordinate, and you have to kill Murky and his egg within a 5-second time frame. So it's actually very hard to stop Murky, and it requires a lot of coordination, and it's actually pretty difficult to really stop him. Jumping into his abilities, he has Slime as his Q. He releases a slimy fish oil that damages nearby enemies, and it puts a poison on them as well, so damage over time. Slime can stack as a 4-second cooldown, and it lasts for 8 seconds. It also reduces their movement speed by 20%. So you can imagine this actually gets pretty bad once they start stacking it, because the damage does add up real quick, but Murky's not necessarily going to be spamming it on you because he's very fragile at the same time. What it really excels in is damaging structures and pushing back creep waves, because Murky wants to get his creep to the wall, to the towers, as soon as possible so that he can maximize his damage. Now, his W, Pufferfish, it says a cooldown of 1 second. That is not correct. It is a cooldown of 9 seconds. And Pufferfish actually can outrange towers. Now, Pufferfish is really just based around dealing a lot of damage to towers more than anything else, because it does quadruple damage to structures. Right here it says extra damage, but it's actually quadruple damage to any structure in the game. And this really forces the enemy team to watch out for this, because the Pufferfish can be killed. It will not be attacked by minions or towers, but enemy players can hit it twice and they will stop it. They will negate 100% of the damage, and they will just stop the Pufferfish. So you want to use this a lot behind enemy lines. You want to use this in a place where they're not looking. If they are for whatever reason out of lane, you can really punish them by using Pufferfish on the wall. At the same time, you could talent this later in the game, make that quad damage work on both enemy minions, mercenaries, and enemy heroes. So that makes Murky very strong at jungling. He can actually solo knights by himself later in the game, and he can solo siege giants very well at the same time. He's very good at jungling. With Safety Bubble, Murky becomes unstoppable and invulnerable, but cannot attack or use abilities. So essentially this means that Murky can use this to dive on towers. He can actually safely approach a tower, use Slime, drop his Pufferfish, and get out. Granted, he can use the Pufferfish when he's out of range from the towers to begin with, so you might think, what's the point? Is Slime going to do that much? But it really does add up, because if you have your egg really close and you're pushing uncontested, you can do so much damage so quickly. It's very dangerous, and it's very good. At the same time, if your egg's in a bad spot, your egg gets destroyed, and Murky is incredibly squishy. He will just die so quickly. So if you're in a bad spot and you know that if you die and your egg's already down, that you're screwed, Safety Bubble's a great option to get out, stay alive, and not have to wait a 60-second timer late game to respawn like a normal hero would have to wait. Jumping into his heroic ability, he has March of the Murlocs, where Murky commands a legion of Murlocs to charge a target point, damaging and slowing the enemies that they encounter. Essentially, Murky's Murlocs stop everything, or they don't stop them, but they slow them by 15%. And once they're all jumping on you and slowing you down and just beating on you, they do 250 damage base at the start of the game. For just sitting on you. So they actually will jump on top of the tower, jump on top of the player, and just start punching them or biting them or whatever. And it does a lot of damage, but it's really good for team fights. It's great for if you're trying to control a tribute, you're trying to get that chest on Blackheart's Bay or stop a turn in, and whenever there's a team fight situation, it's actually really great. But at the same time, it's very good for pushing down walls and pushing down keeps and towers. So it has a lot of utility, and has a lot of use, and it's definitely like my favorite thing to use. But at the same time, Octograb is very good in its own right. Now, Octograb almost gives Murky the ability to solo it to some extent. It's really, at core, when you first get it at level 10, it's just a stun. And Murky will literally just summon an octopus that comes from underground, and it stuns them. He hits them for 1 damage, a total of 1 damage. But when you use Octograb at level 20, it does 10,000% damage. So it hits a little bit harder, it's a little bit stronger, and Murky actually, you have to take him seriously at that point in time. But it's a lot of fun. Murky's a really, really unique character. I just like the fact that you can just split push with him really hard. He's the first like pure split push hero I've seen. Granted, you can build him otherwise. You can build him to be more of an assassin, more of a brawler, somebody that's more viable in a map like Cursed Hollow where you are going to have guaranteed team fights. But it all comes down to playstyle, and it all comes down to how you want to play Murky. I'd love to see your plays with him. If you guys want to send me some plays over to solidjakegg@gmail.com, your best plays. I'm making these new funny and epic moment videos and top play videos. So yeah, feel free to send me some of your clips or some of your Twitch VODs or whatever you have, and I'd love to see them. And until next time, I'll be making another Heroes Highlight video. Depending on if we have a new hero or not, I might do something like that. If not, I'm not really decided who I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do Falstad. I think Falstad sounds good. We'll plan on that. And in case something else changes, we might switch it up. But for now, I'll see you next time.